Damian on Design with Damian Farrell from Damian Farrell Design Group, back with us this week. Last week we took a look at some of the codes and things that go into creating multifamily housing from an outside perspective. Now we're going to take it inside and what goes into these units that we are making. Welcome back to the show, Damian.
Thank you very much. Boy, interesting time, multifamily housing. You know, a couple of years ago, right, you couldn't sell a condo, right? I mean, some of the projects that went on in Ann Arbor that were intended as condos, Plymouth Green Crossings, for example, you know, Pfizer left, economy crashed. But, you know, let's put it in context very quickly. Two quick statistics. So I think I'm right in remembering this, 34% of all, only 34% of home owner transactions last year were first-time buyers. 34% of all of the transactions.
How does that compare to past?
It's 14% up from 2013.
Okay.
So we saw a dramatic drop-off in that number at 2009, 10, 11.
Okay.
That's on the uprise.
Which is no surprise given what happened with the economy.
Which is no surprise. Then also the other important statistic, 64% of all transactions, 64% of all households are owned. In other words, the remaining percentage are rentals.
Okay.
And that's the core of where this is all going. So we've got a market you've got a whole collection you can't afford to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have something we haven't had before, the deliberate or the renter of choice.
They don't want to buy.
They don't want to buy.
They like
Not
this
yet.
lifestyle.
They like this lifestyle, and so developers and condominium projects or apartment projects are responding to this, creating more luxurious, more amenities, closer to downtown. So all of this experience thing that we've talked about in the past. But the problem I think we're heading up to is the affordability question, because these things cost money. It costs money to build in downtown areas.
But don't you think that most of the people that are choosing to live that apartment lifestyle want, I mean, they want a certain lifestyle. They want those amenities. Maybe they could buy if they wanted to, but for reasons either with their job, maybe they're a little bit more transient. We had a previous show where you talked about creating environments where they could easily move from place to place that are rentals.
Millennial, you know, we've got the two ends of the markets. We have the empty nesters. We talked about them wanting to stay where they are and not move into centers. We've got the millennials who are likely to move. They are not. They're making career choices based on places to go live, desirability, and then you're watching all the cool companies go to these places and provide opportunities for the millennials to go work there and have those lifestyles. And so they want that ability to pick up and move.
So does it matter that these places with more amenities that are going to cost more are maybe not affordable for your traditional renter?
I think it's
and we have it here in Ann Arbor.
We do.
And part of that is it's the student, those student rentals are incredible because of the money that some of these students have. Coming in with their parents and paying for these places.
And I almost think you have to separate those two markets.
You do, okay.
Because I think that, you know, the very big universities, the people who are developing the student markets have been specializing in that market. And so it is this lifestyle student housing. And while those units would be somewhat adaptable to the units for a young family or for a couple, they really are designed around single people either sharing a bedroom or a group of people getting together and sharing an apartment.
Okay.
So small bedroom spaces, common living space, and then with some public amenity spaces. What's dropping here in the middle are those in-betweeners.
All right.
So the people who can't afford the high rent but would really desire to live to where the action and the experiences are. But also that there is this sense of entitlement about amenities.
So one of the trends here is affordable luxury. How do those two words even
go
together?
Talk about a crossroads, right? So developers are dealing with that by, for the most part, reducing square footage of actual units. And that seems
With more quality.
With more quality.
Okay.
Reduce the square footage, provide a few more amenities, whether it's a couple of workspaces down in the lobby where you can close the door and work on your computer. You might have a young family, one of you might be at home, you might get a babysitter and take care of the kids, go downstairs, log on, do some work that you need to do in some peace and quiet. And there is this focus people are enjoying in these apartment buildings, the public areas, the interaction areas, the cafe space, type space, even if it's not a cafe per se, they are enjoying the interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So compare that to the apartment complex where we are accustomed to. You park your car, you walk in the door, and that's it.
And sometimes you don't even see your neighbors.
You don't even see your neighbors. Yeah, exactly.
The amenities. What kinds of amenities does this group of people want when they're renting?
Bike storage and repair. I mean, there's a whole list of them. Car sharing services. Childcare and the concierge thing seem to go together, but I really push that high up into that, that very high-end bracket, money-wise.
Mm-hmm.
We see things like cooking classes and other kinds of skills, or not skills, but recreational hobby-type teaching and learning, bringing people in to help people with new things, provide experience.
It sounds like a mini town.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, which is great. It creates a buzz. Dry cleaning, laundry service, obviously the technology, free Wi-Fi, iCafes, that kind of stuff. Package delivery, very interesting. I saw in this article a company that has just launched and they're trying it out, I think it's out in California, basically a very large cabinet in which, UPS, FedEx, or someone could come on in, put the package in there, put in a code, that sends a message to your phone.
I love it.
And in your text you get a code, and you go down there and you've got, say, 24 hours to respond, put in the code, open it, and get your package.
I love that idea.
Because, with Amazon, I mean, that's what Jeff Bezos, that's his world, right?
That's
he
right.
wants us all to
That's
be
right.
buying on Amazon.
And isn't that part of, when you rent, that's one of your biggest worries, what's going to happen?
One of your biggest worries.
Your packet, or even homeowners leaving it on the front porch.
On the front porch.
Can't
Yeah.
do that anymore.
Can't do that anymore, especially if you're in multifamily.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
So would you have like a few of these storage units for the packages?
Yeah, that's where I think this is heading. It sounds like a brilliant concept.
I love it.
To me, pet grooming, rock climbing walls. I think roof terraces are a done thing now.
Wait a minute, rock climbing walls in...
Well, people want that experience. They want the exercise. It's an added-on thing to the exercise room. It's not just a series of bikes and some treadmills.
Who maintains this then?
In a large enough building, corporate maintenance operation,
Okay.
and on-site management as well.
Okay.
Challenge when you get in some of the smaller stuff.
Right.
Yeah, rooftop terraces are in. I think there's no getting away. People want those. They're like the cool. So you get up there, you got a bar, you got a fireplace. It's a place to hang out, meet people in your building.
In Ann Arbor, the rooftop terraces that you know of downtown, are they for the individual person that lives underneath it, or are some of these common areas? Did you ever see it? They are
common areas for the building
They are.
occupants only.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of them are carded, like a hotel card.
Uh-huh.
All right. So pretty much for that.
Okay. So we get the idea of what people want, I think, and some of the trends going on with multifamily housing. How applicable are these trends across America today here in our own community in Washtenaw County?
Very, very applicable, especially in the downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as we talked in our previous show about the increasing densities based on transit development. So as our transit systems are expanded out, we're seeing the same need so more family-oriented developments going out on transit lines, but the same needs for the interaction, the experience, the sidewalk, the front porch, all the classic stuff, the health parts of it, bicycles, recharge, options to get into town, and so on. There's this, what they're talking about in planning circles now, this kind of 20-minute bubble. How can I get to all of my experiences within a 20-minute? So whichever way I choose to mainly live my life from a transit point of view.
What about technology? Is that in the game as well here?
It's in the game, and it's a tough one right now because it's advancing so fast. So for property managers, building developers, you're putting in stuff now, and we don't know how quickly you have to change that stuff. So a lot of us are, with the advent of things like Netflix and Roku. I mean, I talk to a lot of people, and I'm one. I could probably dump my cable, but I'm kind of hanging on to it.
Yeah.
And so people are still asking for that, even though I don't really remember when last I actually accessed my cable. Netflix is a whole lot more fun, right? So is Roku. So, yeah, it's easy to provide the Wi-Fi and enough broadband in common areas to take, a large load of stuff. That's all there, but where it's getting tough is in the individual home maintenance, so you're keeping your energy costs down, the thermostats, the heating and cooling systems, the ability to control stuff in your house from your phone, all of that stuff. So individual lights, surveillance cameras, so on. all that stuff is evolving so fast. It's like, how do you pick where to stop? When do you make the decision of what to put in that day?
Right.
And how fast is it going to change?
Do you think that these items, the amenities that people want in these kinds of affordable luxury multifamily housing units, that they'll translate down to the other apartments? And the reason why I ask, and we've talked about this before, McKinley Properties, I cannot believe what they have done to upgrade some of their properties. Glencoe Hills is a good example of that. And the appointments that they're putting in there.
I know.
Granted, they go back to, the 60s, 70s, I guess 70s. Yeah. So maybe, you need to upgrade for the times. People want the granite and they want the wood floors. But it's just amazing to see that a lot of this is going into apartments.
There is this, as access to online, access to home buying stores and so on, even someone with an apartment is going to go to Lowe's and they're going to walk around and they're going to see beautiful tile, they're going to see composite floors, built-up plywood flooring systems that are very attractive, high look of finish, and these things are now in their psyche, and so people who own these older buildings are going to have to, and I think they are, responding to providing the best sense of luxury that they possibly can because of the exposure that we now have to everything.
And I was going to say, the product lines that have advanced as well, allowing you to create things that, in a more affordable way, help with this too.
Well, and our friends at House, every new client we come in, we say to them, have you been to House? Some of them have, some of them haven't. They get hooked like this. So pass that down, take that viral to someone, even someone who's not concerned, they're renting a house, but they dream. They dream about their home one day. They're on House. They're on Pinterest. They're seeing this stuff. They're marking it. They know what they want when the time comes.
When the time comes, when the money arrives.
When the money arrives, the opportunity arrives, they want access to it.
All right, urban lifestyle, affordable luxury, amenities, tenant control of technology, and green leases.
Green leases is an interesting one. So areas like Boston, Seattle, Portland have started to create areas where the city is now getting involved with developers to create green development areas. And these leases that people are signing are requiring you to do things like composting, like the use of public transportation. And the cities are joining in and making sure that that is accessible to tenants. And part of that is obviously people just desiring a more green lifestyle. Part of it is people conscious of the fact that they can lower their costs. So in some ways it can give a developer an edge. If some of this stuff is actually happening and your tenants are signing agreements to participate, you can start to lower some of the energy costs of buildings, for instance. So you might pass that on as an incentive. If I'm competing with my very green tower to my building next door, which is 25 years old, and all my tenants are buying into the concept, and I can see that in my balance sheet, boy, that's a pretty good deal, and a good deal for the city, a good deal for the neighborhood, and it's a good education. So there are all these layers now really starting to come into place as consciousness, arrives. You can have the greenest building, but if your tenants leave the lights on and leave the radio playing all day or the TV, you're nowhere. You haven't gained anything.
Right.
So it's this buy-in. That's what everyone's after. How do we get them to buy in?
Interesting topic today on multifamily housing, a two-part series. The first part, we took a look at the kinds of places you're going to put these units, and today taking a look at what's in them with Damian Farrell. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Local architect with Damian Farrell Design Group. You can go to dfdgonline.com for more information. And we have more coming up on the Lucy Ann Land Show, Ann Arbor's Talk Station, 1290 WLBY.